Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host. Let's get into this. So, hi guys. If it is your first time tuning in, thank you. Welcome. Can you please follow us on YouTube at Inappropriate Radio TV? We can also be found on Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, as well as Google Podcasts at Inappropriate Radio. I'm not sure why the segments are uploading so late, but just try to stay tuned. Alright, it's coming. I don't know why it's rolling out late. Maybe I need to update the version of the application that I'm using to record. Alright, now I actually got this download. It was one of those scattered things. Of course, we've been talking about spiritual warfare, voodoo, and witchcraft, and all the different types of manipulation tactics that people practice, spiritually. Divination, right? We always talk about that. But the Creator wanted to bring some things to your attention. So, there's a spell for everything, right? To make you look different, to make your skin mess up, to make your hair fall out, to make you gain weight, to make you lazy, to make you sleepy, to make you gain weight, to make you lose weight, to make you sick, to make you broke, to make you happy, to make you sad. There's literally a spell for everything, right? Obviously, people would have to have some type of information or access to you in order to use things against you. So they would either have to know your birth chart, they will have to have physical close proximity to you to be able to monitor you. Some people use water, right? They practice necromancy. You have some people that send spirits, they'll send monitoring spirits, and some people will just flat out stalk you, right? These are all different tools of witchcraft. Divination is one big umbrella, and then it starts to split up into different things, and it's all under spirituality. So maybe someone might consider tarot cards the same thing as a person using water to spy on you, and sending you monitoring spirits. Although I don't think it's the same, and it's not. To some it is, right? So to each his own. Whatever your understanding and tolerance of these different tactics are, is however far that you've come, thus far in the journey, to be able to understand and dissect those things and what they're actually supposed to be used for. Remember, we get our gifts and God just blesses us with the gifts. He doesn't necessarily take the gift away, unless there's something detrimental and you're just losing energy or misplacing energy, or just really abusing your power, right? But most of the time, people who are practicing, they may just be using their gifts for bad, right? And these are the people who can sing you different spirits, put you under certain spells. Even something as small as poisoning food. And I'm saying small because that's kind of small on the list of things that can be done to spiritually manipulate a person. Remember, anytime DNA gets involved, it starts to alert the ancestors, right? So your blood, your saliva, your urine, your feces, your hair, anything that directly links you to your ancestors, right? Your genetics. Anything that uses your genetics is going to alert your ancestors, right? So initially, I didn't know why the Creator wanted to even bring this up, but I think as I started to sit here with the download, and I was okay, trying to figure out when I'm going to record, I was trying to figure out if he was done giving me the information. We recently had a conversation about learning how to forgive people when it's just something regular, and then forgiveness that is related to a spell or a curse or a hex. when things happen under the influence of spirituality, or when someone is under possession, you have to be able to use spirituality to understand and forgive and move forward. But the Creator wanted to kind of like put a lens and a focus on this. To the average person, if you're just looking on and you don't look at this situation with spiritual eyes, it just at surface level looks like life is happening, right? And there are some ways that you could like make a distinction between whether it is a spell or if it is just life happening, right? A lot of these spells are connected to ancestral patterns and generational cycles and curses. They're usually intertwined. So if whatever is happening seems to consistently happen to you and people around you, people that are connected to you by birth or just by purpose, it's usually a spirit. And it doesn't even, just because it's a spirit doesn't mean someone is deliberately practicing a ritual to attack you. It could just be a spirit running rampant, right? But when you start to attach yourself to certain people, places, or things, and your life starts to unfold in a way that's not making sense, more than likely it's witchcraft. Someone actually practicing some sort of spell or using some sort of spiritual tools to extract energy from your energetic aura field, or they're just simply being used by a devil, a demon, to distract you from your purpose, right? To stop the purpose of the Creator, to be of an opposing force. When you start to notice things like a change in appearance, it could be the skin, it could be just how a person keeps themselves, how they're eating, their sleeping patterns, the way they're spending their money, how they're talking, their body language, their posture, how they interact with other people. If you can see a drastic change in a short amount of time, the health, the habits, if you see someone is drinking or smoking just way too much, and it could be depression, right? It could be the environment that they're in. It could be a spirit, again, running rampant through a bloodline. That is going to be obvious when you start paying attention to how consistent this change was, a rapid decline. If it's so fast that you can pinpoint the downfall, the spiral, like if you can say, ever since this person did this or did that, like let's just say a person loses their job and then they just start smoking and drinking, you could place the depression, the onset, you could place the portal where this energy started to come through, right, on this actual thing or event. But if you could say something like, oh, ever since this person started sleeping with this person or dating this person or started this job or moved to this place, then that's a little bit more specific. And that too could be a spirit that is either in those places or attached to those people. It could be the food you're eating. You could be going to a fast food restaurant constantly eating the food, and it could be the energy that is attached to a person or a spirit that is serving you or cooking the food. Or it could be the food itself changing your genetic structure, causing the higher vibration of your genes to fall off and making the more negative energies attached to your bloodline be more dominant. So it's all going to be based on how you function. And this is what the Creator brought to my attention. This is when I was like, okay, I get it. I get what you're trying to say. He said that if witchcraft or magic or voodoo or spells is coming to your mind when you're thinking of a person or a situation, You have to be able to first remove your own opinion and experience, meaning don't project your experiences on a person and say, because this happened to me or because I know people do it, you're doing it. If you can't make the distinction, it's probably you. But once you are able to say, okay, maybe this person doesn't practice magic, or maybe they do, right? But if you can say, this situation is not the last situation, this is an entirely new situation, I need to be able to read and discern this frequency that I'm currently in. If you can find similarities, if you could find anything that makes you feel or believe a spirit is attached to all of those people or all of those places, it's probably just a spirit. We have to learn how to make a distinction between someone actually practicing, spells and doing rituals and literally manipulating, versus a spirit that is following you versus you just making poor choices. And those are all three different things, but sometimes they can be intertwined, like poor choices. You can be under the possession of a low vibrational spirit or entity that has plagued your bloodline on both sides, and you could be under possession, right? That's one thing. Or you could just simply be in... sorry, I got a little distracted. But if you are not able to even fathom witchcraft, and this is the tricky part, right? This is where your relationship with the Creator comes in, your discernment. If you can actually say, this might be a spell, it might be, right? But if the Creator is taking it off the table and it's not even something coming to your mind, it still can be a spell. That can be a spell to make you think that it's not. It's literally a spell for everything. So, because we've been talking so long about spells and just witchcraft, because we have this frequency of Saturn being retrograde until November, because we have this planetary shift from the latter section of 2019. I mean, these are all different energies and different events that are happening simultaneously, and they're all contributing factors to the new energy that we're shedding. Remember, the conversation we had yesterday was about COVID just being simply one big symptom, and it was an ascension symptom. A lot of what we're experiencing are symptoms from us ascending spiritually. So we think we're sick, we think we're going crazy, we think we're tired, we think we are thirsty, we think we're not hungry. No, our spirits are advancing. So the things that we usually thrive off of in the physical, we're no longer needing those things. Like, we don't need to eat as much. We don't need to be awake as much. We need to get more rest. We need to drink more water. We need to meditate more. We need to get more well-versed with our spirituality and our religions. Whatever it is that brings you closer to the Creator. I can't tell you what to practice, what to believe. I'm just being obedient to the voice of the Creator, okay? And we've talked about how people are throwing magic on me and throwing magic at the podcast and wanting me to stop putting out these messages. And like I told you guys before, I'll say it again. When the Creator is ready for me to stop, I will stop, okay? But this podcast was actually suggested by a psychic, and I took the advice, and I believe that this was the Creator's way of letting people know that are attacking me, and people that just want to know, they're curious, that this shit is real, alright? And I'm not faking, alright? But I'm going to end it here. I do love y'all. I hope y'all are drinking your water, eating your fruit and vegetables, and sipping on your own tea because it's free. Love y'all. Peace.